Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Kent Mulgat.
And we're joined by Sarah Luss from the Canadian Mental Health Association and Ken Millen from Interior Beverage. And it sounds like the plan, I'll start with you, Sarah, is for us to two-step our way out of homelessness. Is that right?
That's a perfect way to put it. I love that. That should have been our event slogan, actually.
Slogan
It works.
So tell me about the event, first of all, that is happening Friday night.
So this is what we call at CMHA Kelowna a community partner event. So we have individuals or organizations who are attached to our cause who want to raise funds or awareness for us. So Ken here approached us from Interior Beverages and say, I want to help. And so I'll let Ken explain maybe what the event is about and how it came about.
Yeah, tell us about Interior Beverages' interest in this issue, Ken.
Well, Interior Beverages, we've been around for quite a while, and we've worked with the Corral for 25 years. We had this idea of how to help we wanted to help the homeless. That's a big statement, but how do you do it? A good friend of mine who ended up being the CEO of BC Hydro in Vancouver sits on the Canadian Mental Health Board in Vancouver, and he was visiting our house one day, and we were talking about that Interior wanted to do this, but we didn't know how to do it. He said, phone Canadian Mental Health here and work with them, and they'll come up with a plan that works. So we did that, and we ended up with a whole different idea of what helping the homeless would be. When I first thought of it, I thought, well, maybe we'll give food, we'll do this or that, but that wasn't really the path we ended up on. What we wanted to do was have a solution to homelessness. And Canadian Mental Health has that. So we wanted to make aware, like one of the things that I was really mystified about or wrong, I was understanding that it was bad choices. If everybody that's on the street, bad choices. Not true. A high number have mental health issues. Right. So they're doing drugs out of
Coping.
Self-coping.
They're medicating.
They're medicating with drugs, self-medicating. So that's the wrong way to approach it as far as they're criminals or this or that. They're not. These are decent people that have contracted a disease and they need some help. So through Canadian Mental Health, they have a program to help them, and that's where you come in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it seems like right now our community is really active. You know, we've got different levels of government all interested. We're building facilities. Sometimes it seems hopeless because as much as you build, there's just always more. But I guess it's a journey.
It is a journey. So it's a long journey. And some people might say, why hasn't this been addressed yet? Because it is a complex issue. And before, the approach was almost, let's have the homeless individuals jump through these hoops, and then we're going to provide them with housing. Now what we're doing is the housing first approach, which is just that. You provide them with housing first, you provide them with some dignity, and they start fresh. But you house them, that's just the first step. How do you keep them housed? So you provide them with the wraparound supports while they're on their journey to recovery. So it's this whole new concept that other Canadian communities have been extremely successful with. Medicine Hat, Ken and I are actually both from Medicine Hat, that's our hometown. Mm-hmm. They've been successful in ending homelessness through the housing first approach.
Ending homelessness. I always find that's kind of overstating any possible goal. I mean, to truly end it, I'm kind of thinking maybe never, but we could get it to the point where a homeless person is a rare sight.
Exactly. So in Medicine Hat, if it's longer than 10 days, they're then considered homeless and they're then eligible for housing.
Right.
So
I want to bring something up because Ken mentioned the fact that some people seem to be looking for exit ramps, like why to not care. Oh, they made bad choices is one. Another one I hear is, that's the criminal element. You know, I'll shift my caring towards the others because they're the bad ones. But it just seems to me that there's an element of criminality that you wind up seeing in a lot of people that kind of found their way there through various reasons. There's some very criminal people at one end, and there's some almost not criminal people. It's just a big gray area. They're all just trying to survive in a world that we don't want to be in.
Exactly. So one of the purposes of what Ken wants to do is he wants people to know what he now knows. So before, he had a stigma around homelessness that it was a bunch of bad decisions that led them there. So in reality, that's not the case. Some other stigmas are homeless people are just lazy, homeless people are all addicts, all homeless people are dangerous, homeless people should just get jobs, those sorts of things, and that's not the case. There's really 3 common factors, this is from the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness, that lead individuals to becoming homeless. So one of those is poverty, the next is disaffiliation, and the third is personal vulnerability. So that's kind of what we're talking about here, is the mental health aspect of it. And one of those factors doesn't lead somebody into becoming homeless. It can be all 3, and there's other factors that contribute as well.
Right.
So there's kind of 2 sides to the coin. People who have mental illness that end up homeless because of it, because they're unable to access the service they need. Maybe they're disconnected from family and friends. That's the disaffiliation. Maybe that leads them to coping with substance use. And then that in turn ends up in poverty and then homelessness. So you can see all 3 factors
Right.
led that one example into homelessness. And then there's the second side of that coin, which is individuals who are experiencing homelessness develop a mental health issue because of it. They didn't have one necessarily before, but if you can imagine, which we probably can't even imagine, the stress that they would
Right.
experience being homeless.
And some of the drugs that people do, I take it, can really develop, cause mental illnesses to start to occur when they didn't exist beforehand.
That's right.
So you've got all of these issues that all get intertwined. And the best way to try to help people in these situations is to start by putting a roof over their head, in most cases.
It really has been proven. The success rates are very high with the housing first approach. So you restore their dignity. And we're not talking about housing dorm style or, the shelter style housing. This is their own individual space that they can close the door, and that is theirs.
Right. Okay, so I can help homelessness by going to the Corral.
Yes, exactly.
2 steps
Well, on
your
Friday
way.
night, we're going to have tickets at the door for $15. You get a hot dog and a beer for $15. And there'll be a silent auction, there'll be a loony toss, there'll be a whole bunch of things taking place down there. The funds that we raise that night, the band's playing at a discounted rate, everything's going to happen there. We're going to have some fun with it, raise a bunch of money, give it over to Canadian Mental Health to do what they do best with that money. We don't know what to do with it, so they're going to handle it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys came in to tell us about it. Good luck.
Thank you so
with
much.
all that you're trying to do,
Yes.
Sarah. Ken,
Thanks.
thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks for having us.
watching Kelowna Now.